politics of bridesmaids. Internally, we all rank our friends. I'll let you in on a little secret. Everyone's got a little crazy in them.
Wait, first off, now that I have you on camera, did you think I was a demanding bride?
Yes.
The politics of bridesmaids it's like the number one thing I talk about. If like one of those things where they're like, you're being held hostage for 30 minutes, you have to talk about something to set you free, it is this. It is the politics of bridesmaids. It happens at every single wedding. There are politics in weddings. Let's get into it. The politics of bridesmaids is the idea that bridesmaids require you to publicly rank your friends. And even if you are like, no, it doesn't, I love all of my friends equally, whether that is what you want it to be or not want it to be, that is what it does.
One of my best friends invited our entire friend group to be bridesmaids, except for me. I'm beyond her and feel so left out.
People will have complicated feelings about it because people post their bridesmaids proposals on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, you know? People are showing who's there on the bachelorette party versus who's not there on the bachelorette party. There are intended and unintended consequences that happen because of it, and I tend to find that most of the drama that happens on a wedding day is because of this. It could be somebody that you're choosing to invite or not invite, somebody that you're choosing to allow participate or not participate. I'll let you in on a little secret. Everyone's got a little crazy in them. Listen, we've all heard the horror stories, the bridezilla stories.
Am I the asshole for kicking my maid of honour out of my wedding with only 5 days' notice? Because I don't think so.
That person was a psychopath, maybe?
We sit there and we go, that's not going to be me. My family's not crazy. Like, your family's crazy, mine is not. Or like, your friends are insane, mine are not. My hypothesis on this is that this is like a 3-dimensional reason for why this happens. The first one is because weddings are a commitment. They are a commitment of time, they are a commitment of energy, they are a commitment of money, and they are also like a commitment of emotion. And I feel like that last part is like really kind of not talked about as much. But if someone asks you to be in a wedding or even just participate in a wedding, like maybe you're not even in the bridal party, maybe you're just asked to go to the bridal shower or the bachelorette or even just the wedding day itself, you are being asked to participate in something, and one of these levels of commitments will affect you. And listen, it is, to me, it is one of the biggest honors to be asked to celebrate and to support someone in a new transition in life. But you just never know where people are, what they're going through. For you, while you may fly all the time from New York to LA and think it's not a big deal, for other people, it could be a bigger deal. And what people don't talk about is the emotional commitment. It can be emotions of excitement, but it can also be emotions of sadness or of regret. You don't know what other people are bringing to your day. If you've had someone who's lost a family member, being in your wedding could bring up feelings of them not being able to have a wedding with someone that they loved, you know? And listen, we want to be the best people in the world. We want to be the people who are just so excited and want to be there for our friends 24/7. But the reality is that that just sometimes doesn't happen. And what is hard is that when you are in your wedding season, all you do are thinking and dreaming about your wedding. And even the people who are like, I do not want to make my wedding my personality, it is your personality because you're talking about it all the time. The couple is going back and forth with vendors, getting quotes, they're booking things, they're bringing things all up together. When you talk to someone, that's the updates in their life. That's what's going on. And it can feel isolating to the other people around you, even if they're asking, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? Because that is the biggest thing in your life that's going on. You know, you can be so happy in sharing these experiences, but the thing that you cannot control is how people react to that. My parents got married at a courthouse with 2 people there. When I came to my parents and I was like, I want to have a huge wedding weekend in the South, and I want to have a big wedding weekend up in New York City for all of my friends, my parents looked me dead in the face and said, that is crazy. I had dreams of sitting down and planning a wedding with my mom like I had saw in the movies, and she didn't want to do that. That was her nightmare. She's literally on the other side of this camera right now looking at me. Lots of times you're blending different socioeconomic statuses of 2 different families. Other times you're blending different like cultures. In the idea of friendship, the same thing. You can have one friend who all they want in their life is to be a bridesmaid because they think that is like the pinnacle of friendship. And their friend could be someone who's just like, oh, this is just another day. Like, I'm just going to pick the 5 people that I see most every day and not necessarily my childhood friend. You may have never said this out loud, but internally, we all rank our friends. You may consider someone your number one best friend, the top person in the world that you are like, this is my and that person may consider you a tier 2 friend. And that's weird, and that's sticky, and that hurts. And I think there's also the very real political dynamic of like, I was in someone's wedding, but I wouldn't necessarily have them be in my wedding. I came across this Cut article that really kind of explains all of this well. It's titled, What It's Like to Learn You're a Second Tier Friend at Your Best Friend's Wedding. And essentially, as like an overall summary of this article, this girl gets married 10 years ago, has a bunch of her friends in her wedding. So 10 years go by and it's time for one of the friends to get married. And because everyone thought that they were all besties, kiki, hanging out, they were like, oh, we'll all be bridesmaids. Well, she asked some of the girls and she didn't ask one of these other girls who 10 years previously she was in her wedding. The girl who wrote this article was like, no worries, I get it, I have kids, I'm not the same person that I was anymore, is still invited to the wedding, and she's super excited to, see her best friend get married. And it was at the wedding in which she realized that she was a second tier friend. She says, from my perspective, I thought, I didn't realize they were that close, but I didn't understand their relationship. She ends the article by saying, I ended up leaving early. I got my partner to come pick me up and I burst into tears when I got in the car. I realized, I'm not as close to these friends as I used to be. There were so many comments under this article, but the one that stuck out to me the most is the woman I consider to be my best friend would most definitely not consider me being her best friend. And it's weird. And I think that's the perfect way to encapsulate the politics of bridesmaids. Nobody's advice is better than a mother's advice. I'm going to bring my mom on camera. We're going to answer some questions from Reddit about the politics of bridesmaids.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, a little birdie, why won't you hold my hands?
Your hands are cold.
I know, they're freezing. A little birdie told me that you are a frequent user of Reddit.
I read Reddit.
I know. And what's your favorite thread?
Am I the asshole?
Exactly. So that is exactly where we are going to go. We're
Okay.
going to go to Am I the Asshole? And we're going to talk about some bridesmaids drama. Did you have bridesmaids at your wedding?
No.
Did you think I was crazy for wanting to plan a big extravagant wedding?
No.
Yes, you did.
I didn't think you're crazy.
Yes, you hated how much money we spent on
Yes.
flowers.
Yes.
And every time I'd be like, oh, this is how it costs, you say, no, it doesn't. And I'd say, yes, it would.
Yeah. Given the circumstances, it turned out beautiful.
What are your thoughts about the states of bridesmaids these days?
It can get pretty harrowing because friendships are broken over whether or not they were chosen to be a bridesmaid or for whatever their family circumstances was, they couldn't fulfill the bridesmaid's duty and then they felt like, oh, well, then you're not my friend anymore.
Am I the asshole for declining being a bridesmaid? My friend of 10 years recently got engaged. She had already asked me a while ago if I would be her bridesmaid when she gets married. This was at least a year before she got engaged, okay? Once she got engaged, she messaged me and told me approximately when she was thinking about getting married and the location. Unfortunately, the wedding date coincides when I think I may be heavily pregnant or may have a newborn baby. My partner and I want to start right after we get married. Her wedding location is also about 7 hours away in another country, so it would require some serious travel. As soon as she messaged me, I called her and I told her that although I would love to be a bridesmaid, I'm more than likely not going to be able to be one, and as I might have to back out of the wedding at short notice. She took this news, how do you guess?
She was probably not happy.
Yes, very badly. She was trying to interrupt me on the call, and when I asked her how the wedding planning was going, she said to and then hung up. She hasn't spoken to me in nearly 2 months. So, as a side note, she's constantly stated how much she hates surprises, she has a tight budget, she likes to plan things in advance. I thought the best thing to do would be to tell her straight away instead of leaving it till a couple months before the wedding and before I spend any money on bridesmaids, dresses, etc. Am I the asshole?
No.
What?
No. She doesn't think she can fulfill her duty. She's putting it out front. The bride has over a year to get a replacement. She can be there to support the bride, but
I think she is the asshole.
why?
Okay, because she is saying that her friend is getting married 14 months after she's getting married, okay? Pregnancies don't happen overnight, you know?
No, but if people are planning on it, then they're trying.
They could be trying, but you're saying that, hey, 14 months from my wedding, when your wedding is happening, 2 years after I've been married, I can't be a bridesmaid at your wedding because I could hypothetically be pregnant.
14 months is only a year and 2 months.
This is really important. Number one, the friendship. Yes, I have known her for 10 years. However, she is not my best friend.
Okay.
And number two, it says she is not a bridesmaid at my wedding. My sister and my best friends are my bridesmaids. And the date of her wedding is approximately 14 months after mine, which she had said in the previous thing. Yeah. Does that change your thought at all?
No, I think she was up front.
Yeah. I think this changes my thought a little bit because it goes to what we've been talking about in all of these things, whereas like her friend thought that she was her best friend. I think that sentence that she says right here of like, I have known her for 10 years, however, she is not my best friend. To me, this tells me, hey, I don't consider you as good of a friend as you may think that I am, and I don't want to go out of my way because I have other priorities higher than you. What's the verdict?
NTA.
I'm still 50-50 on this one. Our last one. Is slight bridesmaids drama normal? It says, I'm just curious about other people's experience with the bridesmaids leading up to the wedding. Do most people have a tiny bit of annoyance or drama with a bridesmaid or two? Not necessarily a falling out, just something that they're doing wedding-wise that is leaving you frustrated. I had a bridesmaid retract her RSVP to the bridal shower, and she said she couldn't come anymore due to her new job. I totally understand it, but I'm extra bummed about that one since she got married last year and I threw her entire bridal shower in my house. Another two bridesmaids have constantly complained about the same things. Why did we get our dress from this place? What if I lose weight next month? I don't like this Airbnb. We're staying at the bachelorette house. What is my boyfriend going to do when we get pictures? He's going to be so annoyed, et cetera, et cetera. It's all little stuff, but it's starting to get on my nerves so much, especially that they're telling me. I've been feeling lately like that my wedding is just some big, huge inconvenience to some of my bridesmaids. I've tried to make it as easy as possible, including paying for all of their hair and makeup and day of stuff. I'm sure I'm overreacting because I'm stressed, but I just don't want to vent to them or discuss wedding planning at all because I'm scared that they'll be annoyed about it. Is this normal?
I think it's normal.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I think that bridesmaids and family and everyone, the bride is consumed with wedding planning and they wear people down about all the little minutia that goes into it.
Right.
And that kind of, ruins all the times of celebration. And I think the brides have to be aware of that. I mean, they need one person who they can vent with, throw ideas off, and then everyone else celebrate.
Yep. And you're going to jail.
I had to deal with some very difficult personalities.
It's normal that you're going to get a lot of feedback, and that feedback you may not want, you may not appreciate, and you either have to stop asking for feedback and just try to celebrate.
Yeah, I think what's hard too, especially, is that like the state of our economy is one thing, and I think people are really in tune with like how much money they're spending and like their disposable income. Being part of a bridesmaids, that there are kind of like these multiple decisions, like you are gonna have to buy a bridesmaid dress, you're gonna have to spend money on a bachelorette party, and I think there's really two schools of thought here. You have some people who like, I'm a maid of honor right now, I'm planning a bachelorette. We're very much taking the tact of like, this is how much it's gonna cost to go on the bachelorette. You can either opt in or opt out. I understand that my style of planning is not for everybody's style of planning. There are a lot of people who are saying, hey, you are having to spend your hard-earned money on this, so you should get a say in it. And I think just like, again, bringing together a group of bridesmaids or a bridal party is just bringing in multiple planning styles, multiple attitudes, multiple comfort levels, like you were in the military and like we talk about this all the time, like there are points of failure in any operation. Like when you're planning anything, there are points of failure. And anytime you're bringing in a new person, that's a point of failure. And all of their emotions regarding money, time, emotions, commitment, are all potential points of failure as well, And so I think that is the hard thing. I think getting people together in groups, complaining is going to happen. Like I think it's unrealistic to think that you're going to get more than 2 or 3 people together and like complaining is not going to be there. Yeah. But I think this is like very normal. I think it's pretty that your friends are saying this in front of you. Like I think this is something that like when you are going through it, to your point, I think like you have to have those people that you can vent to that are not that person, because that is also not fair for someone to be involving you in something so intimate and personal and you do that. Who did you complain about me to?
You. John Michael, your father.
Good job, Mom.
Well, that is the politics of Bridesmaids. I want to hear your story, your perspectives. Comment it down below, or like send this video to someone so they're not alone, and so that you can talk about it. Put it in your group chats. I just want to share with you my little outfit. My mom is mortified because these are sweatpants jeans. Remember jeggings? Remember that era? Thank God we're no longer in it. But this is kind of like jeggings, except for they're sweatpants jeans. They're from Rag & Bone. They're incredible. I absolutely love them. And then my top today is actually from The Knot, released a new collection. And like, you know, sometimes brands you're like, is it good? Is it not actually good? These ones are cute. This one is Rolling in Love. It's like Vegas themed. Cute little design right here. And then on the back, love birds. Sure, whatever. On the back, then there's a design, and it's so cute. They're so comfy. I've been living in it. So, yeah. Okay, shoot my back.
No, don't twerk.
Do you hear my mom telling me not to twerk? Don't get on my butt. That's for a different platform. Stop that.